my uncle on this side, my mom on the outer side, and my mom being the oldest, and then it's kind of just, back that way. So we had a ceremony for my brother over the weekend, and the medicine man there, he was talking about our old ways and how we come together and stuff like that. And we came together as siblings as well. My mom's the only one that's there. We no longer have a father. My father left. So we all showed up for my brother. He's grieving and he's going through all these things. We all are. And my mom was telling us we need to have ceremonies, for our mental health, to straighten ourselves out, because we go through a lot when you're grieving, and it affects you, and it affects everything. Your job, your home, your relationships, and everything. It does that. So that's the reason why we were told to have ceremonies. So that's what my brother was doing. So we all showed up, me being the oldest, and then my brother in there, then my two sisters in there, and then the brother, the youngest brother's the one having the ceremony, and my little sister, she lives here at my mom's house. We all showed up, and the medicine man was so surprised at how we were all there as a unit at my mom's house, being there for my brother and supporting him in a manner of, helping him heal and getting better for himself. But it also helps us individually, and it also helps us as a family and everything that we go through, which was really good. And then the medicine man was talking about that. He was saying that, it's good that to be that way, because that's no longer, it's not seen that way no more. Everybody's families everywhere. We all move off, we all move away, we all want to do our own things, and we go everywhere, and we want to do our own things. Everybody's like, we want to mind our own businesses and not be anybody's business. Is kind of sometimes the way it is. But it was good though, and we talked about that, and then he talked about the old ways of how it used to be when people used to come together like that and be in one unit, in one place, and having the cultural aspect, I guess, for us as the Diné people, we need that connection for us to heal. I mean, there's probably, there's counseling, there's therapy, there's maybe even medication. But for us, it's the ceremonial aspect, which connects us, our roots. That's our ground. When it goes into the ground and comes up, that's our roots. So that's where we connect for our mental health and where we go to heal. So when I talked to the medicine man, and he was saying out where he lives, his siblings are the same way. When their mom left, they all dispersed, and now that he's trying to come back together with his siblings, and the same way with his wife. He was there with his wife, and she was so excited to see her sister, because she lives down the road. She was closer. She was in Kadiai, and she hadn't seen her sister in, I think she said 5.5 years, and she wanted to go see her sister. And we had made traditional foods, and she packed some of those traditional foods, and she wanted to go and reunite with her sister. She was so excited that through the ceremony and the Beauty Way ceremony, that she was, going to be a part of that as well. She's not a part of our family, but through the ceremony, she herself was also going to go and reunite with her family that she hadn't seen in 5.5 years, that she hadn't seen her sister. She had talked to her sister on the phone, but not physically seen her sister. So she packed all her food that that we had prepared as well. And she took that, and they left for the day after we finished what we needed to do there. She left to reunite with her sister and spend some time with her sister in Kadiai. So they left for the day. We stayed there, and we had Thanksgiving that day. We decided to have the Thanksgiving dinner because we were all there, and we all cooked. We all showed up. We all did that, and we all came into Hogan. We all came into Hogan, and we had other relatives show up, and we were all sitting in there. And usually my little sister, she's the youngest one that usually does the prayers because she prepares most of the food at the house. But actually, the children, our children, are, you know, the next generation. They're the ones that actually did food preparations this time. It wasn't us. Before it was our parents, and it was us. Now it was our children that actually did the food preparation. You know, and people talk and people shed tears and shared their stories of, you know, families. You know, how families are separating, and how we should get back together, and, you know, being together, and, you know, how do we, you know, talk about these things? How do we reconnect with our family? And, you know, we're talking about the ceremonies, and, you know, and one of the ways is the ceremonies, our traditional ways of reconnecting. You know, that's who we are as Diné people. You know, that's what we're doing right here, right now. You know, we're all here. Even distant relatives, you know, they're in here with us. You know, they're sitting here with us, and we're going to share, we're going to eat here. It was really good over the weekend in that ceremony from my brother. And, you know, he shed tears. He was so happy that we were there with him the whole time. And, you know, completed the ceremony. And I stayed there an extra day, but it was good. And when I came back, and it made me feel good. I was not feeling good. I was feeling under the weather. You know, I had massive migraine all week. I was going through some stresses of my own, and, you know, I was going through stuff myself, you know, but I wasn't telling my family. All I said was I have a headache, and I got there. But, you know, I healed myself as well through that ceremony, myself being there with my family, being there with my siblings and my mom. And, you know, I've got a raspy voice now, and, you know, I have a small headache, but I feel better. You know, I feel better, and I feel good today. And, you know, that helps. You know, that's one of the ways that needs to be reintroduced to our people, is that's how we heal mentally, is to reconnect with our ways of life.
I think one of the things that I understand about people and their healing process, because we're so ingrained in the dominant society today that we forget we have a beautiful past, we have a beautiful ceremonies, we have a beautiful, it was given to us, prayers and songs, especially songs. That those songs are very, you get the feeling of it, and you take it all in. And so our discussion at the Split Life was about how people had moved away from our ways so much that they forget that they need to meet the ceremony halfway themselves. They need to commit themselves to saying, yes, I do need this help. And I think that's how a lot of time we forget our people with disabilities of certain issues or mental health, that when we do have ceremonies, we also include those people in our prayers, in our songs about them also healing. And so our people has moved so much away from the original ways of life that we used to have. And it's because of my visits with families that I know that we're in a, I don't like to say it, but we're in a crisis where we forget our family members because we're so dispersed. We're so set in saying that I don't have any interest at the homestead no more. There's a lot of people saying that. And so when we think about mental health and other disabilities, we have to make sure that the people they want to meet those ceremonies halfway. Same way when you go to the hospital. And it's neat to say so many people have showed up to your ceremonies, your brother's ceremony. And it's one of the biggest things that we are facing today is we're losing a lot of people. We're going through a lot of grief. That when we come back, we have to remember we're Diné. We have to remember that we have ceremonies and our songs and our prayers. It's a kank, is dat ook, is het ook gelijk.
Yeah, or being among your people, your kinship. It's just like, of course, we know that we have to put up front our prayers. We also have to know that, we have relatives, close relatives, regardless whether it's within the same clan or not, they're still considered relatives by kinship. Can go across the board by clans, but we still have an indication somewhere we still connect with each other. So based on that, with that type of information that we have, I've just walked through 3 meetings with my community members in that way, because they're all different clans and they're coming in from different community, not the community, but different locations in the community. So we managed to come together and talk about, what is our old way of life? What do we still consider the way of life that we want to continue with? Yesterday was a meeting with the ranchers there. They have livestock. And there's their only hope now to keep their mental stability, livestock, their connections to Mother Earth and their livestock. That's all they think about at this generation, at my point. Regardless whether they're alone out there living by themselves, but they still want to be connected so close to where their livestock is. And that's home to them. We had this Asagi burn that went through. People are still in trauma. They're still having issues trying to refocus on a lot of things that has happened, that have left, have burned, but trying to recover from that and trying to refocus to understand that we do have connections with the land there where we can go to have hope. That's what we talked about.
I do always have to go back home. That's when I refer to, okay, I need to go have some ceremony done. And sometimes those conversations aren't really, they're really hard if we're going to talk about mental health, because when you have something going on with yourself eternally, it's okay, I have to go talk to, because to me, I talk to my parents and I get the okay from my parents, but to me, I still have to go to my masan, because my masan is still here, so she's still kind of like my spiritual advisor in a sense. And also my Che Harry, who's my spiritual advisor, who I go to when I need help or something's on my mind. And in those conversations, it's hard to get out what's bothering you or what's irritating you, what's sitting in the back of your mind and the depths of your hearts and whatnot, trying to get that out. Those conversations are tough, but yet through those conversations, you're able to really straighten out yourself. You're just trying to get that first step. And my aunt, my youngest Myers, always says, once you start talking about it, or once you start really, putting it out to the universe, it starts to just roll. It becomes domino. Kind of go hug everybody, shake hands, and with everybody, even all the little kids. And I was leaning on the wall when my other cousin brother Seth, he was on that side, and I was like, dang, Seth. I was like, these kids have grown. I was like, to think that was just us a couple of years ago, like about 12, maybe 13 years ago, that was us, where they're sitting and watching TV, and we would watch these guys cook. I was like, now look at us. We're in the kitchen at the big kids table, talking about things, about life things, and how we help. I was like, look at the house, look at how different it is. I was like, we're even looking at the way the arch used to be. The arch used to be on this side of the house. I was like, we're even looking right here. I was like, Anisha's added on this thing. I was like, time is really going by fast. I was like, and it's true what our parents say. We all grow up And then we all took out our stuff. My mom and those guys were helping in the back with the things. And we started taking things to the Hoga, and everyone comes together. And hearing the comments that my mom just mentioned about the medicine man makes me feel good, because again, those are my grandparents' teachings. That's Mache and my masana who's still here, that instilled in their kids. And seeing that it's instilled into me, that mental health will continue to stay strong, even though the punishment, well, I don't want to say punishments, but that tough love, that discipline that they had is instilled to us. The next generation, like she said, they were in there and they were doing what the elderly do, and now this adult generation, now we're taking care of the food and we're watching the kids and how tables turn. That was a good way to look at my mental health, like, hey, I'm on the right track. The things that I'm doing, what I'm teaching, what I'm pursuing, even with our nieces and nephew, you know, hey, oh, they call me this, they call me that. We were saying the like Bijabi and things like that, you know. I always say, you guys call me Mayash, don't call me Ariana, don't call me Anna, don't call me Auntie. This is what you guys call me. And which is good too, because now when we go out in public, they're like, Mayash, and I'm like, I know that's my kid. And then I think even through that language too, it helps with mental health. When you talk to yourself, even me just introducing myself, sometimes it's a reminder of those little words that keep me whole and keep me, you know, healthy. Because I always we always had this conversation of like, what's your favorite words in Navajo? Like, you don't, even if you don't know what it means, or even just what's your favorite words. And I always said mine was Nsahakes, and Chilakajan, and there's one more I used to say, and it wasn't just because of what it meant. I was like, it was the way it sounds that just, it rings something different. Even just the word Nsahakes, like, ooh, I just like the way it sounds. And that's mental health, even through the songs and the teachings, it all kind of conversed into one. And seeing how it also brings family together, because I finally got to see my older sister, and I don't know how many,
4 years too.
4 years, yeah, to see her, haven't seen her, but I've always asked my other aunt,
Oh
you know.
yeah, she showed up
Yeah,
too.
yeah, see,
Yeah, I
so,
had a niece we hadn't seen in a while that showed up.
which was really good, and I was like, hey, sister, and everyone kind of talked to her and said, hey, you know, things happen, but nonetheless, you still have family. And I think my sister kind of maybe got that, like, huh, okay, yeah, when we talk about there's this line and you can maneuver and whatnot, you come back and you stay on that line, and that's what mental health is coming back to your